Celtics battle with the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta gets a win. They get crazy hot from three at home. DeJounte Murray, Trae Young both have a great game in game three, but now they're up 3-1, presumably winning that series in game five when you go back to Boston. 31 from Tatum, 31 from Jaylen Brown, and then Al Horford having the most impactful donut I've ever seen in my life.
Mm.
Robert Williams came alive. Derek White continues to stroke it. Malcolm Brogdon continues to make big plays. And Marcus Smart continuing to battle in the series. I feel like the Celtics, that rotation of Smart, Brogdon, and Derek White is unreal.
Yeah, you're talking about a team that every guard is playing defense,
Yeah.
matching up with Trae Young, and all of them can shoot. All of them can get crazy hot. All of them can distribute the ball. You're talking about a guards with Marcus Smart, Derek White, and Malcolm Brogdon that at any given moment can score 20, 25 points and play tough defense. And you're talking about a Hawks team that's really kind of Trae Young dependent. And then outside of him, there's like DeJounte Murray, who's not going to play in game five. And that might be the final nail in the coffin for him. And then outside of him, there's like the DeAndre Hunters of the world, who I like. He's good, but do I think that, someone like a Marcus Smart can contain him? Absolutely. And we talked about this last week when we were previewing the series. We had just watched the first game ones, and I'm like, the Celtics team has so much depth. And we're talking about the Bucks. They're down 3-1 against the Heat. Joel Embiid, we'll get to in a second about him and how they're facing injuries with the Sixers, although they have moved on and he'll probably heal up by then. This is the Celtics' year to make it to the finals and win it all, because we're talking about all these other teams, even a team that compete with them, even in the West. You have the Warriors who are competing with the Kings. That series might go 7. Nobody really believes in the Lakers or the Grizzlies. Then you have the Suns with Kevin Durant and his injury history. Then in the East, you have Giannis, who's banged up. They might not even make it out of the first round. And then the Sixers, who the Celtics own. And then Joel Embiid could very well get hurt again. You're looking very well at a series where this is absolutely the Celtics' year. And if they don't win it all, this is going to be a lost opportunity for them.
Yeah, definitely a lost opportunity. And if you don't do it this year, it's like, okay, it's time to, we've given Jalen and Jason long enough to run it. It's like, it's time to start exploring what value we can get for Jaylen Brown, whether that's someone like Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies in a package with Robert Williams, or going out there getting another big. Like, it would be time to start breaking up the band in Boston, because if you can't win with this team and the six men of the year, adding Malcolm Brogdon, Brad Stevens has been making little tweaks that have been very, very good for this team. Bringing in Derek White last year, he now has a full season with them, and then bringing in Malcolm Brogdon this year, pickups like Sam Hauser this year, and then Grant Williams hasn't even played in this series, which is the craziest part. Like, Grant Williams came in game 3, was his first real game playing, but he's someone who was a huge part of their team last year, basically saved them in game 7 in Milwaukee last year. And now he hasn't even sniffed the court in the playoffs versus Atlanta.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of saving him for the later rounds and keeping him fresh, because when he gets hot, he can drain it like nobody else. I mean, he shot, what did he shoot, like 45% from 3 this year?
Yeah.
He's lethal from the corner. So yeah, the Celtics, absolutely. I think they seal the deal tomorrow night when they face the Hawks without DeJounte Murray. I think that's the final nail in the coffin. They move on and they'll face the Sixers.
Yeah, they're going to be facing the Sixers in the second round. And then Joel Embiid has a sprained knee, some injury concerns with him. And then they swept the Brooklyn Nets, but there are some times where it felt like they were playing with the Nets and they weren't too engaged. And then Miles Bridges, Seth Curry would come alive, get them some trouble. I just don't see, I know Embiid's going to be a tough matchup, but Al Horford and Robert Williams will be able to bother him. I know people who are Sixers fans will point to the 52-point game, but before that, the Celtics hadn't lost to them so far this season. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, before they were good and before they were the players that they are today, were wiping the floor with the Sixers. They were able to beat them when they had Jimmy Butler on that team. And then, I'm sorry, but Marcus Smart, not on an offensive level, but as far as like getting in your head defensive level, he just owns James Harden. And like, the biggest threat in the series for the Celtics obviously is Embiid, but like, James Harden is going to be able to be neutralized by the Celtics. You're going to be switching Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown off of him. That's a nightmare for James Harden, especially for a guy who doesn't normally show up in the playoffs. His good games in the series, where it's like if he had 26 points and 12 assists, not the James Harden we know and love, where he's dropping 30 or 40, which he would need to do with Embiid also dropping 30 or 40 to be able to beat the Celtics team. So I think the Celtics are the much better team. They also have home court advantage. That's something that you can't underestimate. And then also, Joel Embiid hasn't shown the ability to have the attrition and stamina to get past the second round yet in the NBA. Hasn't done it before, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been to 5 conference championships. So, also going to go with experience on this.